Hi, my name is Erica Steeves, product stylist and commercial photographer. Today I'm super excited to be back in the studio and to be showing you some more behind the scenes. Today, this last little while, I've been shooting so much jewelry photography for the studio that I work for, and I want to share with you some of my biggest takeaways and the things that I've been doing that have been making the photography I've been shooting magical. I'm going to show you some of the setup and the props that I'm using and how I'm photographing it. So let's get started on today's video. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. A new video will be launching every Tuesday where I take you behind the scenes, giving you product styling, commercial photography, tips and tricks, and so much more. Anyway, I have a whole bunch to explain to you today, and I'm really excited to get started. So what are we waiting for? Okay. So my very first tip on doing jewelry photography is if you are doing something photography that has a lot of reflection, controlling the reflection is one of the biggest and hardest things to achieve. So I highly recommend wearing some white so that when you are being reflected in the image, there's no patterns, there's no crazy colors or things like this that could distort the jewelry, or it could be like creating dark spots, which can be really hard to edit out in post. If this isn't a possibility for you, if you're already on set and you're shooting, we always use a hole in the wall, which is essentially a big white foam core with a hole in the middle, and I'll show you this throughout the video. So for this photograph, I'm going to be shooting items like this where they're like highly reflective. I'm not using the client's jewelry for this example because they're not my clients, they're the studio that I work for, but I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of the ideas and principles that I'm using while on set to shoot this. These are just items that I had at home that I want to show you examples of. And I also have this necklace too that you can see there's a lot of like really interesting things. I'm going to show you how I'm photographing it, what lenses I'm using, the general setup, the props that I'm using, and how I'm staging it to get that beautiful, awe-dropping commercial photography. You can see behind me I'm using two Pro photos. I have one that is a direct light, and I put a small softbox on it so that the shadows aren't as harsh. I believe it's a 500, and I have it at one of the lowest settings. I think it's closer to 5 or even 4.5. And over here I have another light, and it is just the fill light to make the image nice and bright and airy, and this is something that I love. So I'm shooting bright, airy images. I want to make sure that I have two lights so it's not dark and moody. I want to have lots of light in the image to make it really, really crisp. And another thing with jewelry photography is I want a lot of light because I'm going to be pushing my f-stop very, very high. I'll be shooting between like probably 14 and 16 on a macro lens, so to get even more sharpness and really make the rhinestones pop. So more on this to come. Stay tuned until the end of the video to see the final edited images. But I just have so much to share with you today. I'm so excited. Let's get started. Okay, so as I was just mentioning, this is a hole in the wall. You're able to put the camera like this, and it really helps you control your reflections when you're doing the photography. Another thing that you can do is add Filk white cards around the frame as well, so that if there's any reflection happening, that everything will be covered. But where I do have direct light, I just have to be wary and be sure that that is not obstructing, like the cards aren't obstructing that, so that the light is naturally pouring in. And you can see here I have my Canon 60mm macro lens, which I really love because you can shoot pretty tight, but then you can also step back in a reasonable amount of space to be able to get a wider angled image but have everything super sharp still in frame. So this is one of my preferred lenses when shooting jewelry photography. Okay, so you can see the setup that I have today. I showed you previously, I have my light here. I have another one that's that's bouncing up. I'm shooting the large crystal costume jewelry, and I have some white risers. So I have different shapes. I have square, circle, I have a tube, which is really nice for shooting bracelets, and then I'm using ribbon as my prop to help elevate this image. The inspiration is really like the Tiffany inspired kind of shoot. So I'm really excited to dive in to show you a little bit more. Something that I love doing with ribbon is showing how it can just like really lead your eye through the frame to create a composition. Do you have any questions for what I'm doing today with jewelry photography, shooting with risers and ribbon? We're doing a lot of rhinestones and things like this, so some really great tips that I'm sharing. If you have any amazing tips, I would love to hear them in the link below and things that I could try. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and we'll carry on the conversation. So that's a wrap for today. I took you behind the scenes and I was showing you how I was styling and doing product styling for jewelry using ribbon and white risers. I hope it was really helpful for you, and if you were inspired to take action, I'd love to hear it. Or if there's any key takeaways that you had from today, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you love working with product photography and you are looking at bringing on new clients, I have my complete workflow that you can grab in the link below. It is my onboarding process from A to Z, where I'm giving you my email scripts and phone scripts, pricing formula, and so much more. So this is really helpful for people that even have a workflow already and you want to see other people's workflow and maybe take what serves you, leave the rest. Or if you're just getting started, it could be a really great foundation to build your own processes so that you can start serving clients and building amazing relationships to be able to do more of what you love, and that is doing photography. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today, and I'm super excited to be back in the studio and share with you some more videos of behind the scenes. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and keep watching as I show you the final edited images from today.